This is the most ADHD thing ever, to come and do a podcast in the middle of moving house.
My bird said to me, "You having a fucking laugh?" Nah.
It's a bit surreal, to be honest. You're someone I look up to a lot.
Most people, to be fair.
you are tall, by the way.
I meant my
really
height,
tall.
just before anyone goes,
No,
egotistical prick. As long as you make yourself happy, this is the thing. That's, I think, is the key. If you play for people too much, you become a people pleaser. If I make myself dance, generally they're dancing. It's all like secret handshakes and shit.
You've got all this to come, mate.
Yeah, it's great. Hopefully it does, yeah.
Nah, you're in with the crew now.
Like established artists like yourself, for someone coming up is so important. Probably bring straight on to you, Alex,
Like
because
that, yeah, exactly.
That was smooth.
It was.
That was heavily smooth.
You've done this before. Like, that was,
You know.
Went through some mad things when I was younger. I got into music to not get into drug dealing, I guess.
Mate, Ollie, as a human, like, what was it fucking like?
Rank. Like, but I was panicking, like stressed, which means booze more, and like they made boozing indoors normal. I never boozed indoors until lockdown, ever.
This episode is sponsored by Streamline Studios.
You know when me and Jackie started Bear Chat, George?
Yep.
We thought it'd be simple, but in reality, it's quite a lot. The editing, adjusting the cameras, the lighting.
doing it by yourself is kind of impossible, but that's why we've set this place up. I'm over there, I'm handling the live edit, so I'm mixing all the cameras together whilst you chat, following the conversation.
Yeah, and for me, that's why Streamline Studios has been an absolute game changer, because we come, we record, it's all done, plugged onto the hard drive and ready to go when we leave.
For people that might be listening, that have thought about doing a podcast, they've got an idea, they've got a conversation they want to have, come and try it out.
If you want to get into podcasting, don't sit back and just wait. Come down to Streamline Studios and it's all edited live. You can publish your episodes as soon as you leave.
And listeners of this show will get 25% off their first booking. Quote BEAR25 at checkout.
As I said, her and my daughter are going away with her mum and sisters on a holiday. I'm going to Atlanta. I've got to get back Monday morning, get the house, like the end of tenancy clean done, and the carpets and everything. Then I go hide out at 7 a.m, come back, go Glasgow for fucking 4 days. Then, yeah.
You've got the perfect lifestyle for someone with ADHD. This is the most ADHD thing ever, to come and do a podcast in the middle of moving house.
Yeah. My bird said to me, "You having a fucking laugh?" It's like, I'm like, nah.
I'm back in a few hours.
It's what it is, yeah.
Are we rolling, George?
It's fine. She's got to go get my daughter anyway, so it's well, not now. Just probably when I finish here.
Yeah, well, I'll not keep you too long.
No, I'm SE9. The house I'm moving from is SE9. So I'm literally around the corner. Yeah, but I've just come from the new house in Bromley. That's why it took me a little while to get here.
Ah, right, okay. Well, it's fucking going to be easy to get you in here again then. After the house move, maybe.
Well, no. So the house I'm leaving.
Oh, is
around
SE9?
the corner, yeah.
Oh, right. Oh, well, definitely won't be easy to get you back. Anyway, boys, thanks for coming. Ollie, it's been... Last time I saw you, if I remember rightly, was in... No, actually, it was in a relatively calm environment. It was. It was in the tunnel to get on the plane in Ibiza. And I remember speaking to you, because it had been a few years since like lockdowns and stuff. And you were saying, you went like, "She's not DJing anymore, yeah?" And I was like, "Nah." And you were like, "But you're still making music in that, yeah?" And I was like, "No, that's the thing I like the least." And you were like, so confused.
Yeah.
You were like, "Well, what do you mean you don't make music anymore?" And I was trying to explain to you, and just like completely like not getting it. And at that moment, I was like, especially because I knew I was getting you today, I remembered that, because that was the moment really I realised what someone who's doing it for this long, saying you're old, but doing it this long, but having longevity in the industry, you have to have that kind of obsession in what you're doing. And in that moment, I could see you were, it's part of who you are.
It like, the thing is, I don't want to be argumentative. I was 11. Like, I had a bit of a bad, like, I had normal, lovely, how, like, I grew up lovely, but I mean, I just went through some mad things when I was younger. I got into music to not get into drug dealing, I guess, would be the easiest way to say it. But the thing is, it is my thing. It was the only thing. I played football and all that, but I did that because my mates done it. And with regards to music, it was the only sort of time where I felt normal, I guess, when you start listening, getting proper into tunes. And when I worked in the record shop, that was when you're around a load of like-minded people, like even like businessmen coming in, getting records of their break or whatever. But the reason why I sound to sound argumentative is because now, if this is probably something we could end up speaking for the next 2 hours about, but there is a completely different draw to wanting to get into music. There's so much money in it.
You mean in general, not with you?
No, not with me.
Yeah.
I'm still getting the same fees I got when I was 11. But what I mean is it's a completely different draw. There is overnight sensation, etc., which I imagine we'll end up talking about at some point. But I mean, it's a different thing. It's I mean, they teach music production at school now, which I still find mad. And I mean, there's entertainment. Like you can learn about entertainment and that DJing's included in that, of being a performer and whatever. Because I suppose when I was growing up, the performer could be a dancer or something like
Physical,
that. Yeah, do you know what I mean? Whereas now, I mean, look, there's loads of names I could name, but I get worried because people always think I'm talking about these certain names derogatory, but I'm not at all. It is what it is, and it brings a lot of people joy, and ultimately it brought me joy. That's why I do what I do. But ultimately, the DJing side of it is bringing other people joy. So as long as everyone's happy.
Yeah, but I noticed in that moment, I was like, that was never my perspective on it.
Yeah.
Your confusion that I didn't make music anymore was like, it actually really left a mark. Because I remember sitting down and telling Ellen, I was like, Ollie had no idea why I couldn't want to make music anymore.
It's good as well, mate.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, that's what
I think
you said.
that might have been the confusion. You know what I mean?
Well, you were actually a really big part in my come up. If you don't remember,
I do.
You do remember?
I do remember.
Yeah. You. I had my first release on Viva, and you supported it when you had your Radio 1 show.
Yeah.
And it was like the second or third track on the EP, and no one played it. It was Get Down, and as soon as you played it on Radio 1, it shot up. So the importance of support from artists, like established artists like yourself, for someone coming up is so important. And again, we'll probably bring straight on to you, Alex, because
exactly.
That was smooth.
It was,
that was heavy smooth.
You've done this before.
I've done this a few times. So let's talk about this collab. It might make a bit more sense, give people who are listening a bit of context as to why you're both here together and not separately. So Alex, welcome.
Thanks. Thanks for having me.
Nice to meet you. It's the first time we've met in person.
You just said that. I thought you were joking.
No, like the thing is,
I've just said to my missus, she's like, I was like, oh, it's the first time I met her, and she's like, are you for real? We made a song together and never met, but I suppose it.
people can say that to me as well.
Everything's remote now, isn't it? Though?
Yeah.
You can collab with people on the other side of the world, and you never meet them for ages. So this is exactly what's happening here. So let's give a bit of context.
Yeah. So I've been sending Ollie's tracks for 4 or 5 years, something like that, since I really started. And you're a big supporter from the start. So thanks for that. That's good.
Good tunes are good tunes.
Thanks, man. And yeah, it just kind of grew from there. I just kept sending you music. You kept downloading them. And then it got to one point, and I think this is when you were starting to move.
I was moving, yeah.
Yeah, and you're just like, I've got this like folder of ideas. There's like 5 or 6 tracks, and he was like, you fancy finishing one of them? And I was like,
yeah. No, I tell you what I think it was. I think I just moved in, and I just not everything was up in the air. The only thing that was on was my computer, so I didn't have access. I can't remember what it was, but yeah.
Yeah, you didn't have the space, essentially. You didn't have, or you didn't have the time, one of the two. And I did. So just one thing went to another. There was a folder of 6 tracks, I think.
Yeah.
The very first one I heard, I was like, yeah, this one, absolutely. Like I can.
It was a bass here.
It was a really, is it the wobbly sort of? Yeah. And then, you sent the stems over. It was a very quick process. I literally all I did was sped it up, added some extra drums, some extra sounds.
It was rapid.
And it just came around so naturally.
When was that then? When did you send the tracks to Alex?
I want to say August, September.
I'm
asking the wrong person. Yeah. When did Ollie send you the tracks?
I want to say August last year.
Oh, so it's actually moved pretty quickly then.
It was 2 iterations of the same track and it was done. Like rap.
Yeah.
Like there was only some mix adjustments that you said.
Yeah, it was literally, the ultimate, I think,
and some arrangement as well.
Stuff, it just made more sense when the majority of the track was finished at his spot. So I was like, it was easier rather than. Once it's at that point, rather than sending the whole thing back and forth, because it does sound different when you're sending stuff back and forth. So I just said, there was a few things. It was only a kick drum.
It's a kick and some arrangement, like a triplet thing. And
There was, it's a bass.
Yeah, did it to way too many times. Like, way too many times. But
my head was going.
Overload.
No, we cut back on that, and that was it. Really, really smooth.
And it's I mean, I've been planning it out. Like, I've been planning it out from the minute I got it, obviously, and I'm in America a lot, and I think that last year I was in America loads. So I went for 4 months at the start of the year, and then I'm just there. I've had my visa for years, so I generally go out for the weekend. I just pop out on a Friday, get home Monday, whatever, and it's me playing that track in the States because of the bass elements in it. It makes sense to people who have sort of come on the journey with us. So them sort of kind of dubsteppy basses really make sense to people. Then that we go, blah, 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 blah. Everyone starts saying, man. So it's like, it was good. And long, I've been playing it long before in America than I was here. Because some places it's a bit, you know, some people don't like anything different. You know what I mean? So,
well, that's interesting. I was speaking to someone the other day about how sounds changed so much. It felt like the tech house sound that I was playing in like 16, 17 and 18, when it got to lockdown, everything just shifted. The speed became a massive element of music. It was all like this very minimal thing. But with you, you've had to create that versatility in your music because yes, you've done like obviously come through with the Skream and Benga thing and the dubstep, but then there's also a massive side of your career which is house and techno.
Mate, but the thing is, we have to remember it. I worked in Big Apple Records from when I was like, I say 11, but it definitely wasn't 11. It was like 13. So it was the year before work experience because I'd already been working there a year. And when it was actual work experience at my school, I'd already been working there a year. And the work experience lieutenant or whatever the fuck needs to be called come in, and I had to pretend that I didn't know how to use the till. I didn't know every because it was based in a fruit and veg market. It was like it wasn't a market stall, but it was down there. Yeah. So like people would be coming in, oh Ollie, you right? I'm like 13, 14. I had to pretend because I wasn't going to school. I get suspended loads. I wouldn't tell my mum. I'd be off school for months at a time. And then it was So that we were the #1 defected seller.
Ah, okay.
Vinyl. It was all vinyl. Obviously.
So the origin is house. Originally.
Yeah, I think, like garage is mine, but house and garage really. Yeah. And then whatever happened when I started attempting to make music, we're not going to stop like honing on the dubstep thing, but it was us trying to make garage, and then it sort of turned into its own thing. But yeah, like if you listen to all my mix out, I found this old Lacey hard drive, right? That's got all my early stuff on it. It's a fucking gold mine, I've had to be fair. But all my mixes on there are all because I was breaking into my brother's room to do the mixes when he was at work. So we had Technics. So I'd nick his records and then use the records that I'd been buying. So that was a mixture of house-ish, Grant Nelson, like Nice and Rap, and then bits of funky house. And then, so if I was doing a mix, it'd be like, I want my mates to play this in their work, like my older pals play it in their work van. She'd put a couple of disco funky house bits. Yeah. But it was a bit of everything, really, which it makes, when I listen to the mixes, it makes more sense of who I am more than the entire, not the entire dubstep thing, because it was it was later bit. Yeah. Not later, because I was still at school, but it was, house and techno thing's always been there. It was the other stuff that will come new. But I know some people who don't actually know you for any techno or any house. Yeah. I know people who... Yeah, which is mental. Which is mental because it's such a big part of you as an artist. And I mean, my first interaction with you was through that support you had from a track. And I think it's really important. And this is another great example of you, an established artist, supporting a new artist. How important do you think that is for people like yourself in your position to help new people coming through? When I started of Unsound Mind, the whole point of that was, and the name came from not knowing what you're doing, right? I'm still doing. No, but I mean the term of Unsound Mind. I mean that's not particularly what it means, but it was. I set out with that was people who weren't a part of party scene or clubs or whatever, who didn't have the ins, right? I was very lucky where I worked at the shop and we had artwork and we had Danny Harrison from like 187 Lockdown. I was surrounded by good people. They brought people in. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And I learned from good people. So like, I mean, look, if you go to the start of Unsound Mind, I mean, look, Jamie Roy, like, he was like Solado. There's so many people that had some of their first releases of Unsound Mind and went on to do like massive things. So it's quite hard. If you're not about, like, I mean, I live in London, so I mean, everything's there. But I mean, it's not, it ain't that easy. Like just cut, especially during the early periods. Especially, it can feel really fucking. Sorry, it's swearing around here.
You can fucking say what
But I was just thinking it's fucking children. But it's really, it can be really disheartening, especially when you hear stuff on the radio. You think, fuck, that's wank. Like now, if you've said it's all right,
This is it. It's just
but it's it can be horrible.
Yeah,
really horrible.
And you can slog away, and if the support isn't coming through, even if you even a comment back on a SoundCloud link you sent to someone, that's fucking nice. Mm-hmm. It's nice to receive.
I got slagged on Radio 1 once, right? By I can't remember. I can remember. I don't want to say it on here because they don't remember they've said it, and I've bumped into them later in life, and they've been half sound. And they said they were doing some like live commenting on a remix of something, and they said mine was crap basically. And I was the thing was I was
on Radio 1.
Yeah. Because they was doing like a live thing, and they was like, oh, no, this one's no good. And bear in mind at the time I was doing I was all right. Like I was known as Skream. It was very stuff was popping off, and it was like, oof, not nice, man. You can have a million comments for the one. Well, you have a million positives for that one, but it does you in for weeks.
Yeah.
But I don't know, I just have always, I like hearing new music. I think it's from working in a record shop. I used to, on my lunch break, I'd go to another record shop, which was the biggest secondhand record store in Europe. So I'd work in a record shop down my lunch. I'd go around there I was obsessed with like sampling. So I'd really like in the ethnic section and whatever. Yeah. But it's, mate, I like hearing good music, and especially, do you know, the other good thing is I think production's my main thing. A lot of people, some people only know us as a DJ. They've got absolutely no idea.
Yeah.
But it gives me a kick up the arse as well. And you hear things and you're like, it gives you an idea. It won't sound nothing like you've listened to, but you're like, gives you the fire.
Yeah.
So I love having new talent. Not new talent. It sounds well dodgy that. But
I know what you mean.
But I mean, it's good. It's good. It keeps your head going, keeps your head moving, man.
What's it like for you as a newer artist getting a request like that from someone like Ollie? I'm not trying to put him on the spot because he's here, but just in general, what's it like?
It's a bit surreal, to be honest, because like I say, I'm very new. Like if you're looking at my career, I'm literally here. You know, I probably started like 2019, 2020, taking it seriously, and I've been sending Ollie tracks since then. And like I say, even just having the support of him downloading and playing the tracks and replying to like my messages saying, "Oh, this is great, this is good stuff." Eventually, then getting the offer to collab is just like, what's going on? It's like it's surreal because like I say, I don't want to make this weird, but like you are one of my idols in a way. Like it's you're someone I look up to a lot.
Most people, to be fair.
you are tall by now.
I meant my height tall. Just before anyone goes ignorant, like egotistical prick. I mean,
you came in, I was like, fuck. No, it's just it's surreal, but in a really good way. Like it feels good.
In my head, it wasn't like saying. Weren't like saying I jumped on, like it was a few. It was like been sending us like folders for a while. You know what I mean? It wasn't like we had to like this going to sound with online friendship, which sounds even weirder, doesn't it? Sounds like I've just flown him over and married him. Do you know what I mean? But no, but it was like I'd been supporting about if he sent me 6 tracks, if I weren't playing all 6, it'd be at least 4 in the folder. Do you know what I mean? It's not any other people sending us doing that. And normally when people send so many tunes at once, you sort of you go, oh fuck, it's a bit much because there's too many. But every time it was normally about 6, 7. But I'd played the majority of them. So it's like it's better than fucking anything else I was playing.
Yeah, it just made sense. It was
very natural.
Yeah. And then also it was like it sent me so much. It was like I'd had the basic elements of the thing, and it's like.
What's it called? Bass tool. Bass tool. Yeah.
It was more off the back of his drum tool track, which I battered heavily that. Yeah. But well, I mean, we come up with the name long after. Like,
it's just called ID1 for
it was ID1.
Like half a year. I was like, it was a way to come out. I was like, we should actually come up with a name.
yeah, I didn't even think. I was like, I've just been telling people it's called ID1, but it's just yeah. But it's it goes off. But the thing is, it's good, because most stuff comes out now and then dies. Generally, but I think it's come out just before summer. I've had Baker's been supporting it. Who else? I think Ketman's. I think I said video.
Ketman's got it.
I think McVicker's been playing it. So it's like this is the other good thing. So it's like he's a tracker. The drum tool come out in Chris Lake's Black Book. So I mean, he's got the right things. People playing it, but there's some. some people obviously I'm pals with for years. So like, I mean, BB's been playing it. So like, it's people I know. It's I'm 100 mile an hour, so I forget to send things. He's like, oh, have you sent anyone? I'm like, shit. So I'm like, right, chocks off, BB. But then I'm I'm very lucky. Oh, sorry, I keep knocking out fucking hands. But it's I'm very lucky that I've realised how much difference it makes, you know.
Yeah, because it's like trying to reach those people that, you know, you've been like that with for the best part of a decade. Or whatever.
I hate dealing with people on work. I always think, you know, when you know people for years, like, I hate talking shop or whatever, so I feel awkward going sending tunes and that. But then people say to me, wait, you're sending no fucking tunes.
Yeah, if anyone can send proper tunes, it's someone who's been around as long as you, playing fucking tunes.
But no,
you've probably got loads of fucking stuff to send out.
Right, up until a certain point, all of our mates had alternative jobs. Right?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, them alternative jobs slowly shifted into being DJing.
Yeah.
Right? It's really fucking strange. I had no more mates who wasn't in music. And it was like, unless I went back home, but they're all mugs. So it's like, it was, I always feel like it's doing work. I don't know, because I know most people I talk to are just talking about everyday shit. Yeah, I mean, 'cause they're pals of them forever. So as soon as I send it out, they're like, why fucking send me more? And you're like, all right. Got a couple of tunes in the bag, do you know what I mean?
I'll do it after I move house again. If I find a minute.
Yeah. Then I'll send you a pair of trainers.
ADHD times 10. Collabs as well at the moment. Like, collabs have changed so much. Remember when I started looking to make music with people, you were in the studio. You were doing something with someone in the studio. I mean, you might have sent stems, but like predominantly I'd go, like when I went to work with Max Chapman, I'd go to Essex and I'd be in his studio, work with him for like 2 or 3 days and make whatever. But now collabs, you can be, obviously with the joy of the internet, you can be wherever the fuck you are. I mean, you guys have met today.
Exactly, yeah.
And you've got this fucking track out, which is getting support from like some of the biggest artists. Like, that's fucking mental, is it not?
That's crazy, yeah.
It's meant like it's mad. I think obviously we've got to acknowledge fucking the hellhole of fucking lockdown. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So I think it was very much that. I've always liked being in the room with people, but I mean, but up until lockdown, I only worked with people I knew. Like, that's it. Like, that was it.
Yeah.
Because you know there was sound, or like, you don't like come if they're coming into your house, because everything's always been in my house.
Yeah, of course.
So something like it would be, I'd have to have known people for quite a while before you go, oh, that's my mum, that's my dad.
Yeah.
Like, especially back in the day. Like, my studios with my mum and dad, well, I mean, I lived there till I was, I think, 17 or 18, but it was, it's mint. Like, I like the on the go. There's always someone somewhere who's on a different time zone. She's like, yeah, do you want to crack on with that? Do you know what I mean? But it was, no, it's great. Like, it's sometimes nicer as well, because if you're in the room together, it can get very monotonous and boring. Doing one person doing fucking hi-hat loops or whatever. Like, it can get, especially if you don't really know each other that well. You either talk for the first 6 hours and then, oh shit, I've got to go.
Yeah.
Or, no. That happened to me so many times.
You feel pressured to finish it as well, which is forcing creativity, which is the worst thing.
It's working in front of someone else if you're a solo producer as well. It's fucking daunting.
Yeah, I can't do that at all. It's impossible for me.
Listen, it's horrible. I've turned up so many places before. Sorry, and just you sit there like, you're like, you never really know how good you are, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Completely understand where you're going with this.
Sometimes you go in the studio, someone and you're on their setup, and you're like, fuck, I'm a bit out of my depth because this might be a different program, might be whatever, but you're like, it can feel rank. I used to get so steaming when I went into people's studios because it was like I'd carry the day with my chat.
Okay.
And then until I had to do something, but by the time after all the chat, I know I could go boom, 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 do something, and then start talking again.
Yeah, okay.
To not necessarily focus on what I've done. I don't know.
Yeah, definitely. Like, how do you loop this?
Yeah, especially
come over here a minute. Yeah.
Especially if you use different programs, can sometimes be. I can use most to a degree, but there's still like Logic. I'm very slow on, and there's nothing worse than someone going, "I'm just going to take a call. I'll be back in a bit. Go and get some lunch. I'll see if you're finished." I'm like,
clunky.
Bear Chat is powered by Tenzing Natural Energy. as pure as your morning coffee, but without the jitters.
Whether it's the early morning grind, the afternoon slump, or the pre-workout that you need for that session, we've got you covered. It's 100% plant energy, no added sugar, and definitely no crash. Just clean, natural energy to keep you going.
And because we love you, anyone listening to this show gets 30% off. So quote BEAR30 to get your boost.
Yeah, we used Logic at college, which I went and did it at college and then uni. It was all Logic.
Yeah.
We were all recording. It was a lot of bands recording bands and recording vocals and stuff, which, by the way, it's fucking class for. And then it was, what's that fucking one that everyone uses to record bands? Like the master...
There's I've been saying about boring cunt here.
Do you know what I'm at? It's like
Reaper.
No, it's not Reaper.
Reaper, a lot of bands use. There's a Sonar Works, or not Sonar Works, it's Sonar or something
What
like
it's
that.
called.
Then there's Cubase, and then there's
Cubase.
There's like a top tier one, which is like you
Pro
have to have
Tools.
what?
Pro Tools.
No, is it Pro Tools?
Oh, fuck it, I've nearly run through them all.
No,
Just got
I
able
can't
to an
remember.
FL, that's
Anyway,
it.
you had to have like a fob that went in. It was like a license key when I was at uni. And you had to have a fob in to like get the license on.
Yeah. I went college, I had to use Cubase. The only one I can't use is Cubase, and I went college.
I quite
to
like
use
Cubase.
But I was using FL. I've used FL since FL2, right? So
You still use FL now?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I use I've got everything on the computer because some things work better for other. Like I prefer recording audio in Logic. I do record majority of the stuff in. If I've got a lot of stuff going, like from the machines going at once, I'll go into Logic because it just seems to have a bit of a better engine. But this is me being a geeky cunt.
Yeah, we be
good.
geeky. It's
Yeah,
fine. That's what the fucking episode's for. How did it work then? Did you work on the same DAW? Did you DAW?
It was stems.
Stems.
It's funny because I never knew about your on FL because I'm on FL.
Yeah,
so we probably should
That
have.
would have been-
yeah.
That would have been so much easier.
Yeah, we should have done this podcast 7 months ago, boys. It would have been a quicker process.
But we just did. No, I think I was on a different version. So I couldn't open the project.
A cracked version.
Did I send that?
A cracked version.
I'm not sure if I'm on a cracked version. To be fair,
I was on a cracked version of Ableton until like 2019. I didn't even realise.
oh careful! I've just been working with him to last week.
I don't give a fuck. I don't DJ anymore. Yeah, so what we've talked about there is the collab. You mentioned there about COVID, which was a nightmare.
Horrible.
Touch on that because we have mentioned this before. How was that for you as an artist in this industry? What was that like for you? And not even just as an artist, mate, Ollie, as a human, like what was it fucking like?
Rank. Like the big positive is clubs weren't open, and when I realised how much music I can make, like that I've made over the years, that I had times to make, whether it be indie records or whatever. I did about, I think it was in second lockdown. I rang my manager. I've gone, my head's falling off. I've got writer's block. He's gone, listen, right? He's gone, he's gone, you know, you're up to about you've got 460 finished tunes at the minute. I was like, what?
No.
And then I did about 900 in the lot. But it was
Ideas or tracks?
no, finished. I had
900 finished tracks.
about 3,000, about 3,500 ideas. But the thing was, I was doing stuff because you see where you gig on the weekend, right? So let's say your touring starts Friday morning or Thursday night sometimes, you know what I mean? By the time I get home, see kids, I spend time with kids, like whatever, it's Friday again. So if you're making something, you're making it for Friday. You're not actually just making music, right? And that's why I think you get writer's block, because you're writing, if you're a DJ especially, you're writing for a club all the time.
Of course.
And it's you test it in a club, then you're probably like, oh, that sounds a bit shit, I'll leave that, and then whatever. But I had time. And it was the first time in years that I'd actually had that much time, which was great. At the other time is I realised that I was fucking been living life like Peter Pan. Don't understand how to ring a mortgage company, don't understand how to do this, don't understand how to do that. And I felt like it was making us feel like fucking shit. And then when there was nowhere going out, you end up just boozing indoors. That was a big one. The second, I really started to panic because I've got kids and it was that bit, you know, when we initially thought it was going to be 2 weeks.
Yeah, I moved my flights back 2 weeks to go to South America.
Yeah.
And I moved them back. I even paid for them, so I lost all of it. But yeah, we saw all agents, managers, 2 weeks. You'll be back on the road,
right? And then it was like a year. And the thing is, like it was the income thing was it was panic because it's not saying for wanting it to. I weren't great with my finances when I was younger. When I had quite a lot of income when I was younger. So where it was like, I've always lived on the fly to a degree. I've never been great like that, but I put that down to my when I was at school, I didn't really go, and you know, things like just rads really. Like, you know what I mean? And then, but it was, I was not losing my head, like, but I was panicking, like stressed, which means booze more, and like because of boozing indoors, they made boozing indoors normal. I never boozed indoors until lockdown, ever.
Did you not?
No.
Because you were always out.
I was always out. That's stupid if I was at home. But now, like yeah, it was sorry not now. I mean, then like they forced it on you. Like the fucking rise in food delivery, the rise in everything they was promoting, have it your groceries delivered and stuff like that. It's also suspect now when you look at it. But it was shit. Like, luckily I've had my visa for so long. When America opened, I went over there.
You lived there?
No. But I mean to get out, I was just keeping an eye on everywhere that was opening because. Luckily, I've been most places, so I was out off. Like, went to the States. Like, it was I got a vaccine sorted and vaccine pass sorted, and tipped off. But it was horrible, man.
Yeah. How about you? Because you said at the start.
I was just getting started.
You're just getting started, 19 and 20.
Yeah, so literally.
So you literally have just made a kind of like, made a mark to start this career, and then all of a sudden it's just stripped away. What was that like for you?
The thing is, for me, I was so early on into my career. Like I was just still learning like the basics and learning the ropes. And when lockdown happened, I don't want to say it was a good thing because it was terrible.
But it was sorry to cut you off. It's just because it was a fucking black belter.
It was great for me.
Yeah.
But like maybe not personally, but for my career on this side, because I suddenly I was getting paid to stay at home, and I was like, right, I could either start boozing in the garden, which I did, to be fair. But
everyone did.
But I was like, right, I'm going to learn something. And I'm going to be good at it by the time I come out here. And I just went into music production. Like I say, by the time we came out of lockdown, this is when I was sending new stuff.
It was great. It was just fair. I was at the best. I was probably the best I was ever, like, not the best I'd ever been at producing, but I was like, I didn't have to be anywhere. I was like, fuck it, I've got records. I did a record with Jamie T in lockdown. I went to Devon as well. I went to Devon Analog. My missus was like, you need to get out of the house. Like, she needs to, and I could go. I went on my own, travelled on my own down to Devon Analog, and I stayed there for, I think, for sort of a week. But that was nice. Like, basically, you have to put. He just lived there with his wife. I went down on my own. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. But I mean, it was a great time to make music. Just know how to fucking play it.
That was the thing. It was like, and you had no one to. You couldn't really tell if what you were making was quality or not, because normally how you can tell is by people downloading it, playing it, the reaction that you get. But there's
no feedback.
There's no feedback. It was just like, oh, this is good, and it's like, well, now what? You know, there's nothing to. You had like radio shows that were still going and that, but
I did so many remixes, paid remixes. That was how I was getting my money.
Really?
Yeah, but I did so many in the first lockdown when I was getting paid good money. I'd rinsed all the majors. So by the second lockdown, I was still getting sent like things because everyone knows on it. When I'm on it, it's like everyone's like, "Oh, get him. We'll do it in a day." And it was, but I was doing like. So like, but I did one for Georgia, singer Georgia.
Yeah.
So Neil Leftfield's daughter.
Yeah.
I did one of the best things I've ever done for her, but it was like all indie, like it was like 80s indie stuff, like but proper indie stuff. And it was, but then the people were like, yeah, well, we kind of wanted the house mix, so like, if he wants to do it, we'll offer him this or whatever. I'd rinsed everyone, just kept us going. Do you know what I mean? But it was good. Like, it's good. It's like it showed me how much time I was quite impressed. I impressed myself at certain bits. Cause I was like, it's fucking good. Where I've never really taken feedback, like I finish it and it goes out. There's not. Anytime someone's asked me to change something in the song, it gets knocked back.
Every time
someone's asked me to change something, I change it, and then it's been turned down.
Really?
Yeah, every time. Every time some fucking A&R goes, we'll think you should maybe change this.
Oh, they want to just have the fingerprint on it.
It's like, you don't make tunes. And every time I've done it, like I did one for a really good mate of mine, and it got turned down by the label for listening. I listened to some feedback, and I just don't do it. Like, as long as you make yourself happy, this is the thing. I think it's the key to being a good DJ as well. Well, my favourite DJs, you play for yourself, and people are there to watch you, right? Jack Master used to say this as well. He's like, I know what a fucking good tune is. I'll play a set of good tunes. Like, and most people fucking are like, that's their fucking good tunes. That's, I think, is the key. If you play for people too much, you become a people pleaser, which is how you end up DJing on like a Weatherspoons on a Friday. You can play the same songs every week. But I've always found if I make myself dance, generally they're dancing.
Yeah, that's so important for anyone listening. I'm going to fucking clip that and put that up as a clip, because there was a thing that happened to me in my career where I made a fucking mad remix when I did my Warehouse Project debut, and it got videoed, and this one video on one platform did really well, and then on Twitter it got slated. Boiler Room shared it and said, "Like, what the fuck is this?" Like, I got rinsed, right?
What was it?
It was just a mash I did like.
Go on, you know what it is.
It was. No, it was like. It was like an AJ Christou like beat, right? And I just mashed it up with, because I was in Manchester, my first one, had like a really grainy like Liam Gallagher vocal, but like looped, right?
Oof.
Yeah. And then some like fucking, I can't remember what it was. It was a sample of something else. It might have been Fatboy Slim or something anyway. And it was just a build. It was like an intro. It was like a minute long, and then it dropped into this mint beat and it went off, and the crowd went off. But the video that got rinsed on his socials like got pure bad. But after that point, I started, and I was consciously doing it, I started worrying about what people in the crowd were thinking. I was like, that drop didn't go off too much, and then I was overthinking it. The next track, this has got to go off. They've got to put the hands in the air next one.
It's drop culture, that though.
Yeah.
Drop, like, the thing is, I'm from drop culture.
Dubstep.
So sometimes I'm like, I get the same, but then the people who I've like fascinated, well, not fascinated, that's fucking well over the top. People I go to dance to, like the Dan Ganassi's, your Apollonia in general, all three of them. But like they're people. It's like literally you fucking have a belt in drop. Like, I mean, it is well different now in a ADHD sense of the crowd. It seems like everyone's got fucking ADHD now, but it's very much formulaic. Whereas you've got to have a break and a drop and a whatever. Whereas there's not as many crescendos, like peaks and troughs. Like it's You
mean like just rollers?
Well, like a roller, but I mean, you can use a filler to your advantage to get, if you've got something that you want to go off, you do like 2 belt-in fillers. You know what I mean? It's grooves where nothing's dropped, and then you build up. Like, I thought it was just common knowledge that. But house is about, it's always been a gradual thing. It's not like dubstep it's like 32 bar, another track come in, but it's completely different. It's a completely different thing. Yeah. Like I'm playing a 9-hour set in Canada, right? A dubstep set. Right? I did it on the off a couple of years ago at this festival, Shambhala, that I'm really close with. I've been since early on in my career. It was like my first North American festival, I think. And I turned up, I played with Troxler on the house stage, and even the people that ran it were pissed, right, that I wasn't playing dubstep there, because it's North America, like British Columbia, like Canada in general is just this big based country. Yeah. And, so me and I was with my mate Patrick, shouts out Pat the Shagger, and they've gone, look, they'd have a Renegade slot every year, and they was like, I can't play dubstep set. And I was like, all right, fuck it, I'll do it. I had some stuff on my key. I can't remember why, but I think I was sending someone some stuff, but it was on my key. I ended up playing for 8 hours. Playing dubstep, you know how fucking hard it is. I just wouldn't leave, I didn't want to go. Fucking having it, do you know what I mean? It was pop like, ooh, you know what I mean? But it was, now it's planned, it's going to do me nothing. Sorry, I've went on a rant.
No, that's all right. I love when we go off for a tangent. It's easier for me because I can just fucking add on to the conversation. So come back into the collabs then. So you've obviously got this one out now. It's out already?
Yeah.
Anything else you're doing? I have no idea about this. Are you working on anything else?
No,
or?
I want to do something more. It's just that bit. It's just that bit. It's come where the songs come into the year.
Yeah.
I mean, he's building his thing steady. Like, you know what I mean? It would be silly if there was 10 collabs.
I know, 100%.
Do you know what I mean?
I'm just curious.
I think, they're definitely going for it.
Definitely down the line. I mean, that's why we call it ID1 to start with, because it's going to be hopefully a 2 and a 3 down the line. But
yeah, definitely. Listen, anyone.
We've got one just now.
So, no, I've got a habit of jumping in on.
No, go on.
No, there would be. It wouldn't be as special if there was another 7. To have that one roll, that's going to roll through the summer.
Yeah.
It's just getting played more and more, which is always a sign of a good club tune. And
give it time.
No, but some people, right? There's some people I fucking sent it to, and it's like that. "Are you playing it now? Are you?" Well, they've had it for ages. They'll ask me again. I'm like, all right.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, some people it's worth it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like, some people are busy, and I have to remember that. It's like everyone is busy, but
Yeah. I love as well, again, I know I'll come back to this again, but the fact that you're working with anyone, I feel like you've always been one of these people, from my perspective, that is like some artists look at someone's following and they go, oh, I'm going to work with them because that'll be good for me. You've never been that way as far as I'm concerned. You don't give a fuck about that. You just do you.
Listen, I've stand like my thing. Like I've always helped people out. You can ask anyone. Go ask Topping. I'm game to help. Like if someone says, look, I'm doing this thing. It really helped with Stu's on it, or blah blah blah. On it like at the same time. As much as you might say it's benefiting other people working me, it benefits me because it's like you can visually see that I've got my finger on the pulse, and it's like you can trust in us to like bring you new music in my sets and stuff like that. Whereas not everyone gives a fuck about what you're playing in the club, really. They're just there a lot of the time. Like I think over the last 10 years or so, a group of 10, let's say, one of them's proper into tunes. You'd have like the one who will go off into room 2 and be on their own whilst the rest are just sort of hanging about looking for birds or whatever, or vice versa. But it's not vice versa in a sense. I mean, looking for birds, men, whatever.
Yeah.
And but I like it. I don't do it to make myself look good. It's what I've always done. So it's not. I like having my finger on the pulse anyway. So it's they're benefiting me more than me benefiting them, really.
I noticed it because obviously I benefited from that firsthand. But you did it, not just with me. You were one of those people that always champion new artists. Ever since I remember.
I'm from the underground initially.
Yeah.
So you had to either have new tunes yourself or have the newest tunes from other people. So it makes my sets better because no one's got a fucking clue what I'm playing. But I'll always tell you what I'm playing. That's the thing. And I'll tell you who the artist is, and I'll connect them with the artist. I'll pick the artist with someone else. It's just, mate, it's how you keep the shit running. If everyone, like, you can't, there's not a healthy fucking thing going on unless everyone's kind of half looking after each other. Because what you get is, I don't even listen to say names. You look at the headline. I mean, luckily I've managed to stay in that area for a while. But if there's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 DJs, they're like fucking. It's like the Illuminati of DJs. Like it's only them and them. They're the only ones allowed to play back to back at other people's raves. Like if you try and do it. Say if I tried to play at Circle Local in Paradise in the same week, I'm not allowed, but certain people are, and that's that fucking thing. It's all like secret handshakes and shit.
Yeah, you've got all this to come, mate.
Let's go. Hopefully it does. Yeah.
Nah, you're in with the crew now. You're not allowed to play with anyone other than me. To be fair,
That's fine.
I'll take it. Starting my own cult. You know what I mean?
Well, boys, we're about to wrap up soon. Is there anything else you want to talk about? Anything we haven't mentioned? I think this fucking collab's great, and I think, Alex, I'm really excited to see what happens with your career. You're really just getting started, and you're working with someone like Ollie, which I think is absolutely awesome at this stage, but I think the future's bright. You've got a lot of support on this track so far.
Yeah, it's good. It's really good.
I think this about drum tool was the I did not see anyone play. I didn't see anyone not play it, and then it just goes off. Like it's not just them ones either. They're like the sort of obviously thingy come out on Black Book, so it was like you sort of see the big
Chris Lake's flavor.
Chris Lake.
Yeah, but I mean, there's fucking so many tunes. It's like they don't even know titles and that. He's got so many fucking tunes.
I've got too many, to be honest. Like,
That's not about.
Well, not too many.
You never have too many. Have you heard how many he's got?
900 and...
About 3,000 ideas.
That was in lockdown, you bad bastard.
Yeah, still. How many of them released?
Quite a lot. I made my entire Essential mix in lockdown.
Oh, okay.
So that was.
Oh, at least 15 of them have been put aside then. Still got 2,980. Still a lot. Well, mate, no, listen, volume's good. Volume's also, when you're making, again, I wasn't really into producing that much, but what I did find is the more I did it, the more I learned every single tune, even if it was a shit idea, you learned something different.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, you never have too many.
Exactly. For me as well, it's more like, sort of, I know I do have quite a lot, but it's like quality as well over quantity. Because
it's about that.
It sounds like it is. If you send in 6 and he's playing 4 of them.
That's the thing. I don't want to send 20 and there's like 5 that are good. I want to send like 6 strong ones. And if one of them don't get downloaded, I'm like, fuck, what was wrong with that one? Like it's that's the sort of mindset that I've got.
Goes back to that thing what I was saying about 1,000 good comments and the one bad.
Exactly. Yeah. That's it.
Yeah. We definitely swear.
It's definitely like a quality.
Yeah.
That's my my thing just now is quality. So
I think that's very much a Scottish thing as well. It's because Scottish electronic music is it's even at DJs level. A lot of my favourite DJs are like, obviously was Jack, but Harry and Dominic. I mean, the whole sub club thing. But I mean, even I was a big fixture in this. I spent a lot of time in Scotland bouncing about towns, but it's there's a certain quality in Scotland on when it comes to dance music, which is I learnt a lot from spending time in Scotland. Whereas like things like DJing, like you don't play the big tune, you play the good tune, and like you can't. When I remember spending like summers in Ibiza and then going to sub club at the end of the summer and like playing like whatever was biggest in the summer and cunts like that.
it just doesn't fly. Yeah,
It doesn't work, man. You have to be good in Scotland. It's like one of the only places that, like Ireland as well, I think. So, but Scotland, there's just a general fucking quality bar.
Yeah,
It's so much higher than everywhere else.
I don't know what it is. It's just, but yeah, like you say, you got to bring it, like essentially.
Mm.
And it's,
Or you get patched. That's the
that's the thing. It's like you just, and the thing is, there's so few like big clubs. Like if you don't bring it when you're playing at one of these clubs, it's like, well, all right, so, someone else will essentially. So yeah, you've got to be on it. And the same goes, with the tunes as well. It's like there's so much talent. It's such a small place, like population wise. You've got to be on the ball with it. So hopefully, I think we'll
doing all right.
We'll get there.
Well, anyway, before we wrap up, any advice, Ollie, from you for any up and coming artists who are potentially? You said before it's fucking hard. Anyone who's struggling out there, who's just in that place.
I don't know. Like I don't understand the current demographic. I don't really. My missus is like, your social media shit. I'm like, yeah, but I detest social media, right? So I don't really know how to get there now. But all I can say is trust your own ear. I mean, unless you're deaf.
You're in the wrong industry.
But no, I don't really know. Like, be sound. Just smile and agree, unless someone's been a cunt. But I mean, generally, just be nice. Like, be nice. It takes more brain power to be a knob than it does to be nice.
100%.
That's the main thing. Fucking give people their due. Like, give people their flowers now. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just be fucking sound cunt. Really, it's the only way I can put it. Just go as many places as you can, meet as many people as you can, but don't chase it.
That's the hardest thing, to not chase it because you want it that bad.
Of course, but then at the same time, having a crew's important. Although I don't have a crew, but I mean, my crew is like, I don't see him all the time. But I mean, Trox is my crew, but we've known each other nearly 20 years. But what I mean is, you just build people who are your friends. Like, you make with friends because you don't want nothing off each other. Yeah, and I think grab as much as you can, do as much as you can, but within reason. And just, I don't know. All the thing is, I've just tried to be a sound hunter all my life. Just be nice to anyone. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Don't get me wrong. I've probably been rude to a couple of people over the years for not my fault, obviously, but
never your fault.
Never. But yeah, I don't really know. I don't know. I don't understand common demographic. I don't understand how fuckers are getting 100 grand in 24 hours. Like,
well, I tell you what, that's a fucking different.
It's a whole nother conversation, which I don't actually stay away from. If you see it, I'll never slag. I'm not one of them who slags what most people who slag common stuff off are fucking haters and haven't made it.
And but usually the energy is why, because they're just so jealous and envious.
Angry.
They're never gonna, Well, anyway, from your point of view, then, Alex, you're sat here today with Ollie with this collab out now, which is getting great support, and you're on a good trajectory. Any advice for someone who isn't not in that demographic we're talking about there with the huge, ridiculous artists, but bookings, but from someone in your position out there, maybe still hasn't got there? Any advice?
Yeah, just Ollie sort of said it. Just, I wouldn't even say be nice, just be yourself. Just be genuine. Just, if most people are genuinely nice, just be yourself. Don't kiss arse or anything like that. Just be genuine and don't chase trends. Just if you've got a sound, stick to it. Like I kind of made, not a mistake, but I started, chasing trends and I just ended up making stuff that I didn't like. And I was like, what am I doing? Yeah. I've got music that we like making. That's why you do it. You do it because you like it. Don't try and make it something it's not, essentially. We do it because we love it at the end of the day. It's the main thing.
That's the thing, mate, it makes you, they're saying, if you just know if you're meant to be in the studio, right, it makes you feel normal, makes you feel relaxed or whatever. You don't feel anxious or I get anxious in situations, but I can blag it. Yeah. I know I'm a blagger. But the chasing trends thing is well, because of Ableton templates, and this is what I'm so geeky for a bit, but And YouTube tutorials are amazing, right? And that's why I think, like, especially like the American side producers, they're big on like trend stuff, and then they're like really good at replicating things.
Yeah.
But the problem is right, I get about 1,000 promos a day, and I can either tell who's mixing what. I'll get 10 tracks that sound the same, and I'm like, I know who's mixing your shit. And or stuff that all sounds like it's from a template, like you bought a template. Like, and it's hard.
I don't even know that fucking exists.
No, I was talking with someone. I was talking with someone on a flight. I can't remember. It wasn't Ganassia. I think it might have been Ganassia. I was explaining something. They've gone, we don't understand this template. And I was like, yeah. So you can buy a song, a pre-made song, but then you've got all the mixer settings and that. I stopped mixing my stuff. I stopped mixing my stuff a couple of years ago just because it was it's the bit I hate. And I'd mixed the life out of stuff. And Artwork said to me years back, he's gone, if you had a broken roof, would you fix it yourself? I was like, nah. He's gone, if you can't fix the roof yourself, you get someone else. He's gone, if you hate mixing that much, he's gone, there's people who like, they're not adding nothing to the song, do you know what I mean?
No, of course.
It keeps me being able to write more.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I've sat there so fucking long. I know you do this as well. Sit there fucking working on the snare for days. Some people like getting to the end of it. I don't. I fucking hate the song by the end of it.
There's definitely like two sides to it, making music. Like you got like the artistic side, like the songwriting, and then that end bit, like the finishing and mixing. That's like a science. Like I hate
D and B. That's why all the D and B.
I hate that bit.
Psytrance producers are amazing. It's like but it's I just want to make tunes. I like making bounce. I like bouncing about. I mean, that's like it's part of the reason why I got a desk. So I can just go fucking just get it sounding so much quicker.
Yeah, I get that.
Do you know what I mean? So it's just then, and then I'll send the stems to my pal. But it's that's.
Wicked. All right, boys. Well, we'll leave it there. Thanks for coming down.
Pleasure.
Ollie, nice to see you again. Alex, nice to meet you. I hope we can maybe circle back, 6 months, we'll see how you're getting on, mate. I wish you the best of luck.
Yeah, no, thank you. No, it's been great. It's been good.
Nice one. Cheers. Thanks, everyone.
Okay.